Today we're talking with the third Democratic candidate for Lee County Board of Commissioners. And we're here with Mr. Cameron Sharpe. Cameron, welcome to WFJA Studio and our candidate interviews. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Billy. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Before we get to all the nice, important topics of the day, let's find out a little bit more about you. I feel like I've known you since I've been in Sanford the last 13 years. You were involved in politics before you ran for the Board of Commissioners, but correct me if I'm wrong, if you were elected, this will be your second term on the Board of Commissioners. Is that correct?
That's correct, Billy.
Okay.
I was elected in 2016 and seeking re-election now.
Awesome. So tell us about yourself. Tell us your background and what got you into local politics to begin with.
Yeah, Billy. I first ran for the school board back in 2008 and just wanting to get involved and give our children the best opportunities that we could give them. And I was successful in a run in 2008 and came up for re-election in 2012, had another successful run, and decided I wanted to do something else, step up and kind of control more of the money for the county. And I ran for commissioner and had a great run and it turned out great.
Okay. What did you learn in your first term as a commissioner? How was that different than your experience on the Board of Education? And what do you feel like you've done the last 4 years that deserves re-election?
Well, with the school board, it involves children, and everything seems way more emotional with parents when you're a school board member.
Yeah.
Yes. With the Board of Commissioners, we do fund the K-12, and that was one of my goals, like economic development, funding K-12, and public safety. And I feel like over the last 4 years we've done all those well. Economic development's off the chain, and I'm sure you'll have more questions about that as we go forward.
No, we're not going to touch it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We'll get to that, I promise. But
Okay.
First off, we can't talk anything election-wise without bringing up COVID-19 and the pandemic, and I'm sure these past 8 months have looked way different than any of your previous years in public office. And what do you feel like the Board of Commissioners has done correct during these last 8 months? And what is the role of a commissioner to help a county and its residents get through something like this?
Well, in my opinion, the role of a commissioner is to be a leader. We're representative of the citizens, and we've got to lead. And but COVID-19, nobody had a playbook for COVID-19. It was reacting by the seat of our pants. But I think we did a great job with the county addressing that. We had test sites where we're getting PPE out. We had several testing sites and sessions to help the public get out and see if they were infected with the virus. And we've helped small businesses with grants of $7,500 to help payroll and try to get them over the hump, or help them move along. And we've helped we've passed. The checks are being cut now for $20,000 each for our charities, our Salvation Armies, our bread basket, those kind of things. Everybody that applied is getting $20,000, with the exception of one, and they're getting $7,500, and it was because they couldn't prove that they needed the $20,000.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know a county's hands are tied based on what the state decides, and then the state's hands are tied based on what the nation decides. But how would you grade North Carolina's response to all of this? How would you grade Governor Cooper's mandates and kind of the phased approach to kind of reopening the state? Do you think the state's done it right?
I do, Billy. I think Governor Cooper's done a good job. I mean, I know there's been a lot of complaints. It's like I said, it's something that we hadn't been through before, and people are going to have different opinions. But I lean on the side of caution and safety. Has there been times during this COVID-19 6 months or 6, 7, 8 months we've been through, that I've been aggravated with the process. Yeah, every day I get out of my vehicle and go to the door of a business and forget my mask and have to turn around and go back and get it.
I did that today. Yeah. So then let's talk. Well, and I guess we could spend all 20 minutes talking COVID-19, but we're not. We're going to talk about some other important topics that I know to Lee County they're important anyway. And I know you said you first ran for office back in 2008, and I first moved to Sanford in 2007. So I feel like I've been there in some way watching your political career, and it seems like along the way you always have to answer the question of tax incentives. And you can certainly point to where it's worked in Lee County, but you can also point to times where it hasn't worked in Lee County. And where do you fall on tax incentives? And if you approve them or don't approve them, explain why.
Well, I want to concentrate on performance-based incentives from the time I've been in office.
Sure.
Okay. So since 2016, performance-based tax incentives has worked, and the proof is in the pudding.
Right.
Where, we've had $800 million worth of new investment come in the county. The county had 4 of the top 25 businesses come to North Carolina. And if we didn't have performance-based tax incentives, it wouldn't be a reality.
You definitely think that these companies would not have chosen Sanford had that not been on the table.
Well, Billy, the other side says they would come anyway, but
Yeah.
I beg to differ.
Okay.
This is how the game is played today. And I wish, it's how it's played, and I wish it wasn't that way, but that's what it takes to get these jobs and the good-paying jobs for our citizens.
Yeah, and you mentioned those 4 companies, and they are bringing in, better than the minimum wage jobs. They're bringing in, jobs that are going to, support whole families and kind of improve the overall economic, life here in Lee County. But is Lee County prepared for all these housing developments that are coming in, or is it prepared for what's going to come when all these new jobs come in?
Well, Billy, I think we've had some long-range planning, and thought about the residential growth as well as the industry. We did we approved our 2020 land use plan this year, and that plan didn't just happen overnight. That took about 2 years in the making, and I would just say, with the residential growth in the county exploding, so to say, we need to follow that land use plan and stick to it and abide by it, and don't fold to political pressure to change it, and then I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah. Another topic, which is actually on the same ballot that you'll be on, is this sports complex, and voters will be voting on a bond referendum that will that could or won't support a new sports complex. Where do you fall on this issue, and tell us why you support it or don't support it?
Okay, I absolutely support the passage of the bond referendum for the sports complex. For too long now, our parents have been having to take our kids to different locations around the state, traveling and spending money at their motels, their restaurants, and I just think it's time. I think it's Lee County's time. The time is now for us to get this done. Also, on another point, I think this multi-sport complex needs to be looked at as just another piece of our economic development plan.
Yeah. Sanford has certainly changed since I've been here, and I would argue for the better. But we're at a weird crossroads here with the pandemic having hit. I would argue that back in 2007, when the housing market crashed, that really, really hurt Sanford. I think Sanford performed much better through this economic downturn. Why do you think it's different at this time than it was 15 years ago, 10, 12 years ago?
Billy, I just, it's different this time. Even though COVID hit and nobody had a plan for it, I just think we got on it and got to work, and with our employees, we kept them all, as many as we could, working at home. But those that couldn't work at home, we kept them in the office working. I just think the counties did a good job at, and I remember the housing bubble bust of 2007, 8, whenever it was, but I wasn't deep into paying as much attention then as I am now.
Right. I know you mentioned your time on the Board of Education, and when you become a commissioner, you're still involved because you are handling the budget for the Board of Education. And I know our schools have taken on extra responsibility over these last 8 months, not only in helping feed and get a community through this, but also with online learning and hybrid learning and all this. How can the Board of Commissioners better support our teachers and better support our school district, especially at this time?
Well, to make no bones about it, Billy, I'm going to support K-12 teachers all the way, and as a member of the Lee County Board of Education, I supported a 2% supplement increase for our county supplement for our teachers, and as a member of the Board of Commissioners, my first year, I supported another 1% increase to that county supplement for a total of 3%. And you know what? That was a start. That got us back up to a more level playing field with surrounding counties, but it's still not enough. I'd like for, if I get elected to a second term, I would like to see us take another look at that and increasing that again.
Yeah. And let's talk, I guess, party affiliation here. Right now, the Board of Commissioners favors Democrat, and I would, this election, could sway it either way. You're running as a Democrat. Why is it important that Democrats continue to hold the majority in Lee County? What do you feel like? How do you feel like that benefits the county going forward?
Well, it benefits the county and our teachers and our citizens and children because Democrats like Mark Lovick and Amy Dalrymple and Robert Reeves are not going to cut K-12 funding. And I can't speak for the other side, but I've seen it in the past. I've seen them try to get involved and cut the money, and and I think when they cut the money, that hurts classrooms and our kids.
Yeah.
Could you repeat that? I mean, yeah,
I think I forgot it.
Two parts. There was two parts there.
No, it's just the reason I bring it up is it's just a very when you talk about party Democrat Republican, you're gonna have a lot of people vote straight ticket.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And how would you reach out to a Republican who maybe is considering not going straight ticket? Why would you say that they should vote for you, I guess, or to a Democrat, why is it important that it remains a Democrat majority Board of Commissioners here?
Well, if I was reaching out to a Republican, I would say, hey guys, look, in 2019 we cut taxes 2 pennies, and if not for the COVID-19 situation, we would have cut the property tax rate another 2 pennies. Couldn't do it because our people were staying at home, sales tax was down, and the revenues were not coming in like they were supposed to. So I would say, with all this new investment coming into our county, our revenues are going to be higher, and we're going to be able to do more things. And I think cutting property tax rates would be one of the higher priority items, as long as we can give the rest of our benefits to the county. We don't want to be slack in our services. But we want to give good services and cut the tax rate at the same time. Okay.
Mr. Lovick comes from a first responder background, and I was asking him about law enforcement and first responders. The Board of Commissioners oversees the sheriff's office here. How do you feel like our sheriff's office has done at a time when public trust for police officers right now is not at an all-time high, to put it lightly? How do you feel like our local sheriff's office has performed, and what can we do to make it better?
Okay, well, I'm pretty much quasi-law enforcement myself.
Mm-hmm.
I deal with a challenging piece of the community.
Sure.
And, I think our sheriff's department has done a great job with the leadership of Tracy Carter. And I don't see any, there's been trouble all around the state, all around the nation. We thought we were going to have some trouble here, and Tracy and his boys pretty much, use the anticipated trouble as a training exercise at the
Right.
courthouse, and I think that was a good thing for them to be ready for that
Okay.
type of uprising or whatever could happen.
Right. So we're down to 2 minutes, Mr. Sharpe, and I'd like to give you the opportunity. Anything that I didn't touch upon here, let us know. I guess your final platform here. What voting for you would mean for Lee County?
Yes. Well, you can guarantee that I'm going to support K-12 funding. I'm going to support economic development just like I have over the last 4 years with performance-based incentives. If you look back to 2012, 2014, when the other side was in control, zero jobs, zero economic progress. And I would just like to say, if the other side would just be honest about incentives,
Yeah.
Don't go around knocking on doors and telling them, it's corporate welfare, because I know it's not. It is a tax grant with agreements, clawbacks. If you do a certain amount of jobs, certain amount of pay, we give you a certain amount of tax grant.
Right.
And it's you have in the long run it works out for the county. That's what I'll say.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Cameron Sharpe. I'd like to join Sandhills Broadcasting and The Rant in thanking you for your time today. On behalf of Sandhills Broadcasting, The Rant, and Brick Capital Video, we thank all the candidates that we've had participating in today's interviews and interviews throughout this week and upcoming next Monday. So we hope today's interviews have been informative. We hope that the listeners and viewers have learned a little bit more about our Lee County Commissioner candidates. Today we did the 3 Democratic candidates. Tomorrow I guess it's tomorrow. We will have, please correct me if I'm wrong, we will have the Republican candidates for Board of Commissioners on tomorrow during the same time. So don't forget to tune in again tomorrow, 12:30, to listen to the Republican candidates for Lee County Board of Commissioner. I'm Billy Liggett, and I want to thank you, Cameron Sharpe. I want to thank Mark Lovick, and I want to thank Amy Dalrymple for their time today. And we thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget, please go out and vote, and we'll see you at the polls. Thank you.
Thank you, Billy.